Hey y'all, this is Billy, the permaculture pimp daddy from Permapastures Farm. Today, we're going to be working on getting these pigs out of the permaculture barn. Now, as I've discussed briefly in past videos, they've been there considerably longer than we intended. But that's how this lifestyle goes, right? Doesn't always work out that way. Anyway, from where they are, and you can hear them, from where they are, we're going to get them to the area behind me. That massive, massive thicket has been allowed to grow up for years and years and years. Also, to help mitigate, you see this stuff behind me. This is one of the areas where we have that silvergrass that is like, it's like somebody poured gasoline on the ground. So what we need to do is, for the first time ever, instead of running pigs in poultry netting or sheep netting, we actually got some pig netting. So we're gonna actually run that through this area after we get through here with a weed eater, just to kind of get a path. Then we're gonna get those pigs out of that barn from where they are and into here. So with that said, folks, we got rain coming and it's time to get to work. All right, y'all, it's the next day. William ran through, did all the weed eating, get that all squared away. Now, I just want to show you this one structure here because it may just work out for some folks. This is what we used in the past. We just got a couple of pigs, and it's real light and easy to work with. Just a square with a little bit of pig panel on top and just some makeshift tarp. Well, because of this extraordinarily steep terrain, we could use this, but it's just going to be a bigger pain. So the experiment we're going to do this time, and it's kind of to a certain extent borrowed from a guy named Cody Holmes up in Missouri. And instead of worrying about moving this thing around, we're just going to put this sail, the semi-permeable sail, and we're going to go ahead and sling it in between some of these trees with the very same knots I showed you in the past. So just kind of this ain't going to stay here. This is going to come out. But really, it's nothing more than we're going to set this little triangle sail up in between whatever trees we have, and we'll go from there.
All right, so here I'm going to tie a bowline on this end. And then up to this tree, I'm gonna tie a round turn with 2 half hitches. If you don't remember how to tie those, go back to that Knots for the Homestead video. It'll be up above.
All right, y'all, this video is really about getting the pigs from the permaculture barn out into the woods. But just briefly, this is what they get every day, y'all. We don't buy any store-bought food for our pigs, and they taste fantastic. These are food scraps, and they can be procured even in the smallest towns. So anyway, here we are. We got the sail set up. We got the area ready. And if you look around me right now, this is by design. We let them beat this up, and the chickens had a little hand in it too. We let them beat this up real good to be able to put an instant garden out here. And it could be as simple, folks, if you don't want to be too involved in that. If you got an area like this, we're gonna scatter some seeds on there and then scatter some mulch on there, scatter mulch in the form of straw or something like that. Or if I didn't want to mess with it at all, if I wanted to just remediate this thing just like we have in the past, let's say you left your pigs there a little too long, you just put maybe 6 to 8 inches of hay out there and you'd be shocked what comes up afterwards. Okay, so now all this is done. We got their feed ready. So we're gonna take them with a bucket and we're gonna run them out that chute all the way over to here, and then we go to the next step. All right, these guys are out in the field right now, but I just want to cover this briefly. Remember, if you go back and watch how we did this permaculture barn, and it is it's a work in progress. This is one of the things that was critical, because all the way around this barn, we got a hot wire sitting on insulators, and we can tether it like we're doing here. So for now, it's going from here to this pig fence. Now, in the future, it's basically, we just got some number 12 THHN stranded wire going on here, and it's attached to the end of this. We tested it a minute ago, and it's about 7,500 volts, which is more than sufficient to handle these guys. I always like them hot because it's always going to make these guys, when they hit it with their little wet piggy noses, they're always going to know that they shouldn't be messing with it. Now, they're over here in this new area, which is new for them. They've never, except for when they were really, really little, they never really slept outside. Now, part of the problem that we have, and it's going to be remediated, is we got Craig, Debo, Big Worm, and Smokey out here. And as you can see, they're a little bit heavy right now. But now that we're going to ease off that feed and let these guys start acting like real pigs now that they're out of that barn. Not that they weren't acting like real pigs, but now they're in the environment they ought to be in. So we'll get these guys going. They got a little, little hooch up there for them. Anybody that thinks that ain't gonna work, well, guess what? It's good enough for a U.S. soldier. That's what we used to use back in the day. It wasn't no pup tents or anything like that. It was a little poncho laid over some trees like that. So that's partially where the idea came, but I also want to give a shout out to Cody Holmes for showing me a while back how this can be done so much more efficiently than dragging around a static and stationary structure. That is more than good. In fact, it'll work in the winter too. Anyway, these guys are off and running. And here we are, another project knocked out. So now that they're out of that barn, now that we got a little garden area set up, we can get that stuff out of that barn and start showing you how we're gonna make the new iteration of the 18-day compost pile. So stay tuned for that. Remember, subscribe, tell your friends about us, hit the notification bell. Till next time, this is Billy, the Permaculture Pimp Daddy, where PIMP stands for Permaculture is my passion. We'll see you next time.